Have you been through betrayal? How do you actually rebuild trust after that? Whether it's to rebuild trust for the world or trust in another relationship or even trust yourself. I do not know what kind of betrayal that you have been through. I do not know how painful it can get for your side, but I can share about my own story about betrayal. I had that relationship betrayal in my very first relationship, and that was devastating for me to the point that I wanted to give up my life, because I used to believe that when two people get together is kind of like forever after, the kind of happy ever after story that I watched in the movie when I was a child, that brought to that perspective that whenever you meet so-called your loved ones, and that should last like forever. So when things happened in my relationship at that time, when she wanted to explore different partners, different relationships, was devastating for me, but I didn't want to give up. I feel that even though she kind of like, in a way we call it betrayal, but I feel that we should always give other people another chance. Then when I give her like one chance, and again the things happen, then you get into a second chance, third chance, fourth chance. A lot of my friends ask me, when are you going to stop giving chances and really live your life and walk away from the relationship? But to me it was so difficult, because I first started not only with that feeling of the sadness, I started questioning, is love really real? I started not trusting so much that relationship can really work out really well. I started doubting myself, and that it's like, am I not good enough? Is it I'm not looking good enough? Is it I don't give enough? So I feel a lot of that self-doubt actually built in that process when somebody so-called turn their back on you, in the terms of betrayal. I don't really like to use the word, but that's how the social actually associate that with betrayal. So when I went through that process, I took a lot of precaution actually during the process, so that she can actually being monitored or being kind of like tied down, so that I don't need to face my fear that she can betray again. I even come to the extent of installing GPS tracking systems inside her phone, and that was, I know it's not a good thing to do, but that was purely driven by fear, by not trusting again. But you know what happened when we don't trust? That make me very paranoid in many ways. Like when she's not around, I get really paranoid. Not within my vicinity, I get paranoid. When she's texting or on a call with someone, when she is talking to some other guys, I get really paranoid. Every conversation we have really become. So I feel that is very contagious in many ways. It kind of spoiled the entire soup of this relationship, even though I meant well, I wanted to restore the relationship. But when that fear, when that distrust built up inside me, everything kind of becoming in a way like dark. I stopped really trusting, although on the front we say, I want to give you another chance, I trust you again and again, but deep inside me, that trust has been broken. So today I really want to talk about, like, can we do actually from this point onward? I understand that whoever is tuning in right now, you may go through very tough, and I'm not here to really persuade you. I don't know how painful you can get in that moment, but to me, it was everything in my life. That kind of pain, I feel that is too much for me to even bear. I feel that ending my life can be the easiest way at that moment of time. But at the end of the day, I remember the time I decided not to kind of kill myself, because I tell myself, like a trick to myself, I tell myself, hey, you can kill yourself anytime. You don't need to pick a time, pick a date, and you end your life there. So I started having this inner voice asking me to venture into like understanding what's going on in my life. Why am I not treating other people badly, and then I come to get this kind of relationship? What is going on? So that whole process actually not just leading me to rebuild trust, but actually is more, I would call like an awakening process. It became an opportunity for me to start understanding the nature of relationship, understanding why relationship was given to us in the first place. What was the reason for it to exist? I started understanding much more in depth about relationship. It's like an engine of learning about different things. They reflects a lot about ourselves, about how we think, how we handle things, reflects a lot about our trauma, our fear. So I feel that in this context of betrayal, how do we actually rebuild trust? I feel the first most important thing is that when things happen in such a way, first of all, if we see from the perspective of it is her fault, it is his fault, it is somebody else's problems. Yeah, I understand that many will argue with me that, hey, yeah, it is their problem. I'm not speaking from that so much on the human level of who is right and who is wrong, because sometimes they have a different choice. Their choice to maybe explore life, explore different relationships, and that is not up to us to decide. But yes, it's painful from our side as a receiving end. But I feel to understand that decision may not in alignment with how we get together initially. And I feel that most people are not open to really talk about that until we discovered it like way later. So I feel in the whole process, this communication is critical, but most people are really not courageous enough in really being honest and speak about the truth. Hey, maybe telling the partner, hey, maybe I got really attracted with another person. I don't know why, I just feel these attractions. And it can be as simple as that. And most people just don't talk about it. So what they can do is they kind of have to do it secretly. So when you do it secretly, of course, when you get discovered and it's a form of betrayal of trust. So I feel that communication is one of the key things before it ever actually happens. So what happens when you are in such a situations like me? So when betrayal happens, I feel first don't blame first. Because when you are truly blaming, I cannot say much already, because all inside your mind is, why can't she do this to me? Why can't he do that to me? Why all these things happen to me? You may even blame yourself. You may even blame life for whatever has happened to you. And from that perspective of victimizations, what is the easiest way? A lot of time for me is really ending my life at that moment of time. That is the only thing I can ever think of. So I feel not blaming. I know it's hard. But if you can pause your thoughts for a while and just understand that there may be a higher reason for these things to happen. Maybe it's leading you to a better growth, maybe leading you to a better relationship, you never know. I understand how painful it can get at a moment of time. So I feel the first thing is to really pause all of that for a while, really zoom out for a while and not take the position of blame. And when you are more in charge in your life, when you're more responsible per se about anything that have attracted to you, I feel then we can move to the second stage and understand that yes, we have that feeling, the feeling of fear, feeling of self-doubt, we are not good enough, feeling of fear of losing someone that you love, fear of not getting another relationship equivalently, loving, caring, or as important. So I feel that we only come after we start to not blame and start to see from a very different perspective. And once we acknowledge that feeling inside us, feeling of that fear, feeling of that insecurity, feeling of not good enough, actually those are the things that created distrust inside us. Once we can actually fully being so honest, so transparent, so authentic about acknowledging those true feelings. You can do it through journaling, you can talk to yourself, you can do it in your prayer, you can do it in your meditations. But what is important is do it with yourself, inside yourself. And when you express that authenticity, that honesty, you allow that fear to leave you, you allow that insecurity to leave you, you allow that doubts to leave you. And what is going to happen next is when you allow this darkness leave your body, you kind of learn your learning, you kind of learn what you're supposed to learn in this whole setting of this betrayal in this relationship. And what happened is you gain that light, gain that wisdom. I did the same thing. And what happened is that I realized that I no longer need to suffocate her because of my ideology of happy ever after kind of ideology. I stopped really monitoring so closely like 24/7 because I no longer had that insecurity. I stopped doubting that I'm not good enough for her. I stopped blaming myself for not giving enough or not doing more than what I'm supposed to do in that sense, because I start realizing that maybe it's just that she has a different path, she has a different choice. And in that relationship, what I learned is sometimes love is really about letting go of what you feel that you want to hold on to you so dearly, and you want to keep inside your pocket forever. So sometimes love is really not about owning. Love can be really about letting go and allow her to be what she wants to be, allow her to make choices that she wants to make. I know theory is easy. I understand it's not easy when you are so emotional about it. I'm just sharing what I experienced from my own personal past. So what happened when I truly let go of all this? What I realized is that I became free. I became free, and not just rebuilding the trust within me. I became free from all that not good enough, from all the fear, from all the insecurity. I remember we ended that whole relationship really in good terms. We're still friends up to today, and I feel that's important. Loving someone is really, that includes sometimes letting go of them and letting them be who they want to be, or what choices or what futures that they just can't share with you. Maybe they can share with someone else. So sometimes people take relationship like an obsession, like an ownership. But in my personal view, I feel that love is really not about ownership of the person or the thing. Love is really about allowing them to shine brighter than yesterday, allowing them to be happy whoever they choose to be. Then why two people come together? Two people come together because maybe you both share the same future, you both share the same common ground, and then you go through a certain process in your life together. So I feel it's a lot of mutual communication, mutual agreement, mutual visions when it comes together. So if you are in the event that if you are in such a process right now, I understand it's painful. I just want to say that it's always a higher reason for things to happen in such a way. So don't really need to beat up yourself or even beat up others or cursing them. And that unforgiveness or that distrust eventually will build like a poison inside you. And that wouldn't serve you. And that will actually deteriorate your next relationship too. Because that poison will be in you and not another person. That poison of distrust and that fear and that doubts. And I see a lot of my clients and my friends actually who don't have a closure within themselves due to their past relationship. They always end up in the same relationship again and again. Because that recurring patterns is actually trying to tell us that, hey, look within you. Hey, there's something inside you maybe you can address. But we became too obsessed with what is external until we lost track of what is within us. And what is within us a lot of time is really about the darkness. I call it the darkness. It can be negative emotions or fear or insecurity or doubts. And those are the energies that longing to return to the light, returning to love. And all that happens around us a lot of time is really trying to remind us of that unresolved learning, of that unresolved closure inside us. So I feel that it's important to understand if we can have a really peaceful closure and loving closure within us, actually we have the ability to change the relationship completely. Maybe in the present one that you're trying to save, maybe in the future one, in the next one that you're going to meet. And by we having a good closure within us, we try to position ourselves to be the person who is ready for goodness. So when the time is right, when you are in the right place at the right time, you will be the right person. And to me, that is what is the most important thing. So remember, love is real and love is the answer.